is a story of survival.
The Romans had a really active approach to religion. They believed you could appeal to the gods directly.
Fighting can also mean that you're fighting against the environment to get to something you need. We want to maybe rescue a loved one.
The eruption released more thermal energy than the atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki combined.
Herculaneum. All those people are under threat. All those people need to be rescued.
I live, breathe, excavate, teach in Rome. So I'm pleased to be able to spend a lot of time in Herculaneum, one of the best sites that you can explore to understand the daily life of the ancient Romans.
You said this place was a beach resort, so where's the sea?
Well, we are on the beach, and the sea was right there. That's the power of the eruption. It's going to radically change the whole geography of the entire Bay of Naples.
People don't know as much about Herculaneum, but they should, because the preservation in Herculaneum, a neighboring city, has to do with the nature of the pyroclastic material that covered the site. It was more like a hot mud, so the material ends up being better preserved.
Unlike Pompeii, when they excavate Herculaneum, they basically don't find any bodies.
So, something did happen on this beach, right?
There does seem to have been some sort of attempt of an evacuation.
My job is working as a survival psychologist, looking at how people respond to disasters. So in disaster psychology, what I'm looking at is people under extreme stress, like a natural disaster.
From all of your studies, can we apply these predictions to people from the past, do you think?
Yeah, I don't think people have changed very much in 2,000 years. We know that there are about 10% of people who will manage to be cool, calm and collected and respond effectively.
We have a Praetorian. He is exactly the sort of person in a situation like this. Into the boat, shit! Now!
And then we have the 80% of people. They don't really know how to respond. They're waiting for direction and other people to basically help rescue them.
Julia Felix. She's the leader of her household.
Okay, we need to focus. Huh? Get them inside, now!
Even in the heat of an emergency, people are capable of engaging in what we call pro-social behaviour. So we see people helping and supporting each other, rescuing each other, friends, family, or even total strangers.
They rescue one another.
Yes.
I'm interested in how we use the rocks and fossils we find beneath our feet to reconstruct Earth history, 4.5 billion years of it. On that day, 2,000 years ago, magma, molten rock, is rising up, pushing against the rocks and fracturing them until explosion. Well, eruption, actually. Pompeii is incredibly unique, just as a place of record of the way in which these geohazards, volcanic eruptions, can immediately, in a very devastating way, affect human life. 600 million tons of superheated rock and magma was blown 20 miles up into the atmosphere. And within minutes, that rock and magma would start to rain down on Pompeii. And I think that you could really argue that the story of Pompeii is the birth of volcanology in a way, and you can argue that it's therefore one of the founding principles of geology itself. The eruption column now becomes so vast, so dense, that it was actually stopping sunlight reaching Herculaneum, Pompeii, well, the whole Bay of Naples. Soon it will be completely buried.
But there's still time, right? There's still some chance that they can evacuate.
It's a slim chance.
I've worked on basically three main topics throughout my career: household archaeology, interactions between Egypt and the Greco-Roman world, and the archaeology of religion and ritual. Romans had many, many gods, including a lot that originally came from other cultures, like Egypt in this case. There is so much Egyptian influence at Pompeii. Objects imported from Egypt, practices imported from Egypt, local products that are meant to look Egyptian. The most dramatic example is the temples of Isis, where an Egyptian god was being worshipped in this community. Isis was a cosmic creator. She could embody all of the gods in one. She's certainly a god you might want to have on your side during a natural disaster.
There was someone praying here during the eruption.
Mother, protector, come to me, Isis.
I hope that the viewers are curious to learn more about this incredible lost culture.
I think the experience of being in Pompeii can produce a real empathy for the people who lived there.
These people felt all of the things that you would feel if you were in the same situation.
It isn't just about the ruins, it's about human stories and those emotions that translate from 79 AD to the present day.